Australia is both a country and continent. As a country, it's ranked physically 6th in size and 54th in population. Despite its start as a penal colony, Australia is well off economically, having a well-functioning market-based economy. How did the nation achieve this? Let's find out. Today, Australia is a nation with over 26 million people. The nation has a long and varied history. The history of Australia begins with the diverse cultures and societies of indigenous peoples who lived on the continent for at least 65,000 years. These communities developed complex social structures, languages, and spiritual beliefs deeply connected to the land. Despite their cultural associations, the arrival of British settlers in the 18th century would significantly impact their way of life. In 1770, Captain James Cook claimed the eastern coast of Australia for Britain, naming it New South Wales. The colonization of Australia began in 1788 with the arrival of the First Fleet, led by Captain Arthur Phillip at Sydney Cove. This marked the establishment of a penal colony to alleviate overcrowded British prisons. Over the following decades, more convicts, settlers, and free immigrants arrived, leading to the creation of additional colonies across the continent. In the 1850s, the discovery of gold in New South Wales and later in Victoria sparked a significant influx of migrants, including fortune seekers from around the world. The gold rush not only transformed the demographics of the colonies, but also played a role in the development of infrastructure and the Australian economy. In 1901, Australia became independent and recognized as the Commonwealth of Australia. Throughout the 20th century, the nation played a pivotal role in both world wars and later many other global conflicts. The latter half of the 20th century saw significant social and cultural changes in Australia. The country moved away from the White Australia policy, embracing multiculturalism and recognizing the rights and contributions of Indigenous Australians. Australia's economy transitioned from reliance on agriculture and mining to a more diversified and globally connected one. Economic reforms in the 1980s and 1990s, along with a strong focus on technological innovation, positioned Australia as a prosperous and developed nation. It remains a very prosperous nation today, with a high standard of living. But what are some of the current reasons Australia is wealthy? There are several physical and human geographical reasons. Let's look at some of the statistics associated with the Australian economy. As of 2023, Australia has a GDP of $1.7 trillion, placing it 20th in the world, and a per capita income of $64,700 a year, ranked 23rd. The GDP growth rate for 2021 was 2.21%, comparable or slightly higher than other developed nations. The unemployment rate is 3.7%, among the lowest in the world, and the current inflation rate is 5.4%, higher than usual but not extreme. Australia's national debt is $1.2 trillion, 67% of the GDP. While debt is not good to have, it's significantly lower than the US's nearly $34 trillion debt, which is also higher than the GDP of $25 trillion. Because of its more favorable debt situation, Australia is ranked as having AAA credit ratings, a rating used to gauge the financial health of a nation, like an individual's credit score. AAA ratings are the highest a nation could achieve. So what are the reasons why Australia has a strong economy? The first and foremost reason is related to its history, and that's the discovery of gold. This discovery in the 1800s drew people to Australia, and it became more prosperous. But besides gold, Australia is also rich in multitudes of other minerals and resources, including coal, iron ore, bauxite, a sedimentary rock with abundant amounts of aluminum, copper, nickel, uranium, and zinc. In fact, Australia is one of the 5 nations in the world with 2/3 of all the mineral and resource reserves. The 4 other nations are the United States, Canada, Russia, and South Africa. While minerals and resources may substantially increase wealth, it's not sustainable. Other nations who have relied exclusively on primary sectors of mining may have difficulties if commodity prices drop, such as the situation Venezuela is in now by relying on oil for their economy. However, Australia has diversified their economy in the last century into the secondary, known as the industrial sector, and the tertiary sector, known as the service sector. Like other post-industrial nations, Australia did see a decline in some manufacturing, but in recent years there have been some increases. For example, the nation has a strong chemical industry associated with petrochemicals and medical associated chemicals. GlaxoSmithKline processes poppy straw in Victoria, which is then used in morphine for pain relief. Australia has a strong food processing industry associated with both internal food supplies and exported ones, and this also supplements the agricultural industry too. In terms of the entertainment industry, Aristocrat Gaming, a gambling machine manufacturer, is headquartered in North Ryde, Australia. This company is one of the largest slot machine manufacturers in the world, and many of Aristocrat's machines are found at casinos worldwide. As of now, the largest sector of Australia's economy is the tertiary sector. The country has a highly developed and modern services sector, reflecting its status as a developed country and advanced economy. Healthcare, education, finance, tourism, hospitality, and retail are the largest tertiary sectors within the nation. In terms of healthcare and educational research, Australia only represents 0.3% of the world population, but the nation contributes to 4.1% of the world's published research, disproportionately high. Healthcare in Australia is among the best in the world, and life expectancy ranks 7th, at 83 years old, average between males and females. Australia has a well-regarded education system directly for Australians, and the nation attracts international students. The Australian National University, located in the capital city of Canberra, ranks as one of the best research universities in the world. Many Australians are educated, and this further enhances economic functions. And with top-notch healthcare and education, Australia has the 5th highest Human Development Index in the world, averaging 0.951. Besides what was mentioned, there are other reasons why Australia has a strong economy. For one, Australia has a robust and well-regulated banking sector. The financial system's stability is essential for economic growth and the confidence of investors and consumers. Of course, geopolitics plays a role in economics, and Australia has a stable political system and a well-established rule of law. Political stability is crucial for creating an environment that encourages investment and economic growth. Despite its physical size and remoteness in interior areas, Australia has a strong infrastructure. The country has invested in developing modern and efficient infrastructure, including transportation, communication, and energy systems, which supports economic activities. Providing a well-designed and maintained infrastructure will promote a prosperous economy. Although Australia is in healthy fiscal shape, there are some limitations, both present and ones that may happen in the future. One current trend has to do with internal population dynamics. Australia is a stage 4 post-industrial nation, which means that birth and death rates are starting to even out. When that happens, a population slowdown may occur, especially when the total fertility rate falls below 2.1. Right now, Australia has a birth rate of 12.23 births per 1,000 people and a death rate of 6.76 deaths per 1,000 people, which means internal population growth is still happening. However, its total fertility rate is 1.73, which means the nation falls below the 2.1 replenishment rate. 1.73 is still somewhat high for a developed nation, and is certainly not as low as East Asian nations such as Japan and South Korea. Still, throughout the 21st century, Australia may see a population stagnation and even decreases, ultimately leading to a lower economic output. Another demographic issue is the opposite: population increases from immigration. As of 2023, the migration rate in Australia is 6.39 migrants per 1,000 people, 14th in the world, meaning that the nation is seeing a surge in immigration. Immigration can be good and bad. Good in that it may provide labor to economic sectors, but bad that it may lead to a strain on social services such as healthcare, education, and welfare programs, particularly if the new arrivals have higher needs. Also, a rapid population growth from immigration can strain infrastructure such as transportation, housing, and public services, potentially leading to congestion and a reduced quality of life. Another issue is Aboriginal populations. Today, many of them are poor and live in marginalized lands of Australia, such as the tropical north and central outback areas. While there have been some protocols put in place to help the Aboriginal people, they still suffer from higher unemployment, lower life expectancies, and lower educational outputs associated with high dropout rates. And another possible limitation is associated with mining and commodities. While Australia has diversified its economy, it's still a major exporter of commodities such as iron ore, coal, and natural gas. The country's economy can be vulnerable to fluctuations in global commodity prices, particularly states in the nation that rely heavily on mining, such as Western Australia. Australia will continue to be a major player as an economic power, both regionally and internationally. Its GDP, per capita income, and human development indexes will likely increase in the future, leading to more prosperity. But the limitations mentioned can't be ignored, and Australia must prepare for the future, especially in a very competitive 21st century society. That concludes today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support, and if you enjoy geography and earth science, please subscribe to my channel, Our World, Our Planet, Our Home. Until next time!